can control length. Like, if this is 25 minutes, fine, man.
That's what she said. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around Euro 2024. My name's Suj.
My name is James.
So we're going to do the games first, James, because that's how
this is
we
you.
keep it short.
Do you know what I just realised when I looked at you? Fresh cut, boss.
Fresh cut. Well, T-minus 3 days now till I move to warmer climes. It's still raining outside, so I need to get a summer haircut, mate.
I think Portugal wished they were in them warmer climes last night, judging by the weather they were playing in.
Yeah. And obviously it became a difficult performance. Nico's 3 clean sheets is already out the window.
Yes, Nico.
And
you and Callum mates between you, both catfishing us, mate.
Yes, indeed. We're going to go through yesterday's couple of fixtures and then obviously catch up on where we are on Euro Fantasy, because the deadlines and turnaround is obviously rapid on this. If you're making transfers, you're going to need to decide what you're going to do very, very quickly. I joked on Monday's show about thoughts and prayers with my Germany defence. I was ready with thoughts and prayers for Mbappe. Well, thoughts and prayers for his nose. Because so you've swerved Mbappe, you decided to go against, and not only did you go against, talk about luck. What's less chance? Germany conceding that goal against Scotland, or Mbappe breaking his nose and now possibly having to be out for a few weeks?
Yeah, I suppose expected broken nose was probably 0.00.
XBN.
Yeah, as I said on yesterday's podcast,
is it suspected broken?
No, it's broken.
It's definitely broken.
We think so.
Okay.
He hasn't been ruled out yet of Friday, but I don't think he'll play on Friday.
It's not like they've got
And as I said, if they get the good result on Friday, what you want to risk him for against Poland next week as well? I don't think you do. So I think there's every chance we won't see him to the last 16. Would I be shocked if we get to Friday night and he's in the team wearing his mask and stuff? No. But I don't think he'll
captain,
play.
He's talisman, he's a beast. But
he'll obviously want to play. Even with that the other night, he clearly didn't really want to go off, right? I get it. He's got even greater responsibility with the team now as he's got the armband. But no, I don't think he'll play Friday as it stands.
Let's start with Turkey versus Georgia. Turkey, Georgia, 3-1.
I can already tell you didn't watch any of this.
No, I didn't.
Did you watch Portugal?
I watched bits of Portugal. I watched the final 20 minutes of the first half and the first 15 minutes of the second half. How do you know I didn't watch any of this?
Because you'd already be raving to me about how good this game of football was.
I heard from the highlights and commentary and pundits and all that this was the best game of the tournament so far.
It was brilliant.
And post the Portugal game, because I caught the wrap up on BBC, whatever they call it, and they were raving about Güler's goal, and it is a fucking special goal. I think what they were talking about, 13 goals from outside the box or 11 goals from outside the box already in the tournament so far.
Yeah, there were 18 in the last Euros, I know that.
The whole tournament, and there's already
it's at least 11.
11,
yeah.
It was 11 or 13, one of the other. I should have remembered.
I think it's 11.
Already, and his is probably the standout, considering a 19-year-old kid and all the rest of it that goes with it.
So it's nearly won a game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. And then we were joking about...
But that it won't continue.
Yeah. The other thing that I found interesting in the stats from yesterday about the game specifically was, I think, 34 goals scored, 34 different goal scorers.
Yes.
Obviously, there's three. I think there's 3 own goals in there.
No one has scored twice, yeah. And it's only...
different goal scorers so far.
Nathan Aki and Dennis Mann of Romania, I think, 2 assists
Double
each.
assists.
That's
Otherwise, it's been spread across the board.
That's no bad thing.
Again, no clean sheets yesterday.
That's not surprising with the way football is at the moment.
Exactly that. So from a fantasy point of view, we'll talk about it later. I mean, I've had a rubbish week, but all swings around very quickly, so it is what it is. Turkey ended up winning fairly comfortably 3-1.
No.
On the score sheet.
It deserves to win.
On the score sheet. On the score sheet, James. They've got a bit of room in the end.
Yeah, because your man Aktaroglu ends up with a 1-on-1 from 80 yards with no goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So
that's the last goal. Yeah.
Turkey did deserve to win. I don't think there's much question about that. They posted an XG that hit 3, subject to where you look at your models. 10 big chances in the game. 5 each for the two teams, which consider, 11 shots in the Serbia-England game?
Yep.
So it was 10 big chances in this football match. Full credit to Georgia for putting on a real spirited show. Within that, they've got some good quality. Kvaratskhelia is obviously really well known, but Makwedze, who scored the goal, I really like. And the number 6, who sounds like something out of a porn movie, Georgi Kokravashvili, really good player in central midfield as well. Good team. They give it their all. I think part of the reason it was good is because Turkey have got offensive, creative players. When we did the preview, we spoke about, like, how do you get Kalhanoglu, Yildiz, Gula, all these creative little flair players, how do you get them all in the same team? They're weak defensively, Turkey. And it just made for a great game.
Seems a bit of a theme, though, with a few teams. You mentioned that with Spain as a potential.
I think now I've watched all the teams, nearly all of them have got something about them, whether it's a tactical setup, a style of play, fluidity, movement. They've all, and these two teams epitomised that yesterday. I never thought Georgia were going to be like these big whipping boys. The tournament is set up now to have a country like Georgia, who's a relative minnow, through this Nations League qualifying bit, that one's going to get in that's probably never been in the tournament before, and in 4 years it will probably be a different nation. These were never going to be massively weak, I think, because, I mean, someone like Kvaratskhelia would go and play for majority of teams in the world. I actually didn't think he was that great yesterday. He played a wider role than we'd expected because the coach had said, want to get him in more central areas as lot as possible. But essentially, he's still just played on the left as he does for Napoli, but with license to stay in really high positions in terms of turnovers. And actually, Turkey dealt with him fairly well. I watched the first half hour or so here with Nico, and it was good fun. My bus was late, so I stayed a bit longer after Nico went. Got on the bus, half time, watched it start the second half on my phone, walked home watching the game on my phone. Was not turning this off, mate. Walked in the house and she was like, calm down, what you rushing for? Who's playing? I'm like, Turkey, Georgia. She's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, no, this is a cracker. We need to get it on. She went straight to sleep once I was in. She was like, yeah, you can dad duty and watch the football. Cheers, babe. Yeah, really, really super football match. It had everything.
Just to be clear, that's like 6 p.m, yeah?
What?
Ish. That she's gone to sleep.
Yeah, no, she hasn't just woke up. I mean, she went for like a nap for half hour or whatever. It had everything set in Dortmund, amazing stadium. The weather was biblical rain. Have you seen the roof at Dortmund, giving it the Manchester United special?
Leaky.
At Dortmund? Yeah, that was happening.
That's sheer volume of rain. That sometimes you got to understand that much rain comes down, you can't do much about it.
Are you excusing the Old Trafford fiasco?
Well, that game, who was it against where it really came down? And they were showing a lot of. It wasn't the which league game was it where there was a lot of videos going around?
Oh, when they played Arsenal at the end of the season, wasn't it?
That was biblical. That was a torrential storm. That kind of thing you can't legislate for. But I think Old Trafford has problems that are.
You know what it is with those two stadiums? The roofs aren't like Tottenham's new one or like yours at Stratford is kind of flat and goes round. Those arched down. So I noticed, having been on that end at Dortmund where it was really bad, the roof comes down at like a vertical angle. So again, if there's way too much rain, it just pours down and then hits the corners. That's what's happened at Old Trafford and stuff as well. How it's getting in down the side and down the stairs at Old Trafford is different now. But what's the link between Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund? Who's causing this? Is it Jadon Sancho? Is it Marcel Sabitzer? Who's the cause of this biblical weather?
Neither.
Turkey, I don't think will progress too deep in this tournament because I think there's clear weaknesses defensively. They want to play with...
When you started your sentence, I thought you would progress out the group. They're likely to get out of the group now.
Of course, definitely,
They'll probably beat Czech Republic.
I would imagine so. And I wouldn't be surprised if they give Portugal a real game at the weekend as well, actually, because offensively we've got some really
Georgia
good players.
As well might give them a game, even though Portugal, you'd expect them to beat both those two teams. If they're not on it, like they weren't, well, they were kind of on it, but not in the final third maybe yesterday, anything can happen, right?
Yeah, they like to push the fullbacks on. I'd looked at the fullbacks for Euro Fantasy before it started and wasn't convinced about who was even going to play. The one I looked at most was Demiral, didn't play. His replacement, Mulder, scored a cracking goal the first. And as I said, they've got good technical players. When Gula opened his body up for the goal, You knew what he was going to do. You still couldn't stop it. What a hit. Real Madrid need to buy some more players, clearly. How's he going to get in that team?
Yeah, good question.
You're 19-year-old potential superstar, and you've got Jude Bellingham standing in your way, Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo. They want to buy some more players. Yeah, really, really impressive from Georgia. But yeah, the game had the right result in the end. Super game. Really, I can't understand anyone wouldn't enjoy it. And actually, the two games I probably enjoyed the most are arguably the two you thought, oh, could I skip that? It's this, and then Romania-Ukraine as well was really good.
Portugal, what happened yesterday, Nico? Struggled to get over the line, but they parked the bus. Well, this is it. Like, when you're clear favourites in the group to that extent, people are going to park the bus. So when we think, okay, Portugal are the best, yes, they are. But you have to play a very different game, right? When you are in that situation, because Turkey, well, can they defend or Georgia? But they will be defensively set up first, as opposed to...
the Czechs might beat Turkey because they might defend better, when they play each other. Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I thought the bits I saw of the game, I didn't think Portugal were bad. I mean, Leao clearly lightning. Ronaldo actually I thought was really good as well. I mean, obviously it was the disallowed goal for Jota was his assist, right, off the header off the post for the assist. He had a couple of other really nice touches. Like I don't really want to buy Ronaldo because I basically think he's old, but
Nico just kissed his teeth.
But based on what I've seen, and if I'm looking for a Mbappe replacement,
hold up, this is really ageist.
Yeah.
He's younger than you.
I know. But I'm not a professional footballer.
Is
he the oldest player in the tournament? Or is it Pepe?
No, Pepe. So Ronaldo and Pepe yesterday both became the two oldest outfield players in European Championship history. I think Pepe might even be out right now.
Pepe is, I think.
And for Ronaldo, his sixth tournament of European Championships, that is disgusting. Yeah. Not just a baby, like he scored in the first game of Euro 2004. That's disgusting.
Anyway, Nico, I'll probably buy him if that makes you feel better, because I think he could be a decent replacement for Mbappe. I thought Bruno Fernandes as well was getting on the ball, trying to dictate play a little bit when he was, the bits I saw as well. Cancelo pushing forward. I'm not worried about my three Portuguese players in Costa, Cancelo and Bruno Fernandes. I think they're still interesting. Can't buy Ronaldo. Got 3 of those bastards already.
Oh, right. We'll talk about solutions for you in a bit. Just briefly on the Czechs, couple of notes on them. It felt watching the game like watching West Ham light. Obviously influenced by Soufal and Souček, but also in the sense you go...
David Moyes is West Ham, let's say.
These can manage this all right. No, it did feel a little bit like watching West Ham go...
5-4-1 or
yeah, we're playing away to a top team. Let's go with a back five and stuff.
And then nicked a goal.
I mean, they didn't nick a goal,
no,
did they?
They scored a goal.
Lucas Provard's goal was a really good goal.
On balance of play, they nicked a goal.
Goalkeeper is questionable. Jindřich Stanic, who is only 4 in Euro Fantasy, but yeah, Nico's laughing. I'm not wrong there, am I? There was some questionable goalkeeping going on last night. Portugal, a little bit like with England, France, like I think you can pick out the positives and negatives.
Yeah.
Had they lost 1-0, it would be a big outrage this morning, right? They've won, and I think we've learned from England and France's results this week, like, okay, that's okay, just first game, just get your shit done and move on. That said, it wasn't like undeserved that they won the game. They did deserve to win the game. They had 4 big chances to the Czechs, 0. But within that victory, and Nico's, the first thing he said to me this morning was some very questionable stuff. So I've been tipping them up to do really well in this tournament. And I think the biggest pushback that people keep saying to me is Roberto Martinez. That's the big pushback that people keep saying to me. So this manager who, it didn't work out at Everton, although I think people forget that actually he did have a decent opening spell at Everton. They finished 5th. They pushed Arsenal for 4th place one year when Lukaku was playing for them. But didn't really work out at Belgium at kind of the end of their gold generation. I mean, to walk into the Portugal job from that, I mean, that really is falling upwards, isn't it?
Yep.
I read a tweet yesterday from a journalist who's an Everton fan who said, I interviewed him after he left Everton and knew he was shit. And by the end of the interview, I thought he was the best manager in the world. He was basically saying...
He can talk the talk.
Yeah, basically.
He's got the gift of the gab.
Basically, exactly that.
But it is Roberto Martinez that brought on Pedro Neto and Conceição. Conceição?
Yes.
Conceição. And
he is the son of Sergio, right? Who scored a hat-trick in Euro 2000.
And Neto assisted Conceição to get the winner.
Yes.
So how much are you going to slam Roberto Martinez after he made game-changing substitutions?
Well, Danny Murphy said on commentary, he said, well, you're going to expect substitutes to do in 3 minutes. Yeah. Bam, assist and goal. So there you go. As soon as the lineup came out, everyone went, what's he done? Because a lot of the talk was which two of the three fullbacks was going to play. Was it going to be Dalot, Mendes, Cancelo? Who were going to be the two of the three? And complicated by obviously Cancelo is very comfortable going either side. So the team drops and all three of them are in it. Okay. Pepe and Ruben Diaz are in it as well. Is it a back three? What's this going to be? So what they did was Dalot played right wing back. João Cancelo played left wing back. But João Cancelo didn't play left wing back. He did out of the ball. We'd play like left back and to have a flat five. In possession, he's moving into midfield. What I really didn't like about it, it's nothing against Cancelo, but tactically was Bruno Fernandes played quite deep last night, and I think that's fine because of the opponent they had. If you look at Bruno's like creativity numbers and stuff last night, still kind of what you'd expect, even though playing a deeper role. But you got Bruno Fernandes. Vitinha was given the man of the match, who's a really good footballer. Hi, Bradley Parker. I know you're still not happy that Wolves let him go at such a young age. Didn't really need Cancelo to go in that area because within this, you've got Leao holds the left wing touchline. There was a lot of speculation that he wasn't going to start. He was in the team. You want to leave him one-on-one. On the other side, Dalot's going really high like a right winger. So you still got a back three structure set up. Cancelo's moving inside. Dalot becomes like your right winger. But it's not just Fernandes and Vitinha, essentially. You got Bernardo Silva wants to come to the ball as well. It's like too many cooks, man. Didn't need to do it. Didn't need to do it. And I think it's little things like that really concern people about how deep Portugal might go when they face better quality, quite frankly. There's nothing we could look at last night and say this makes Portugal stronger or weaker for what's to come. Because I also don't think there's any guarantee that what Martinez did last night he'll do again. I think it could definitely be a different platform against Turkey where they'd go with like a back four and he goes, well, I want to put a Paulinho in the team and sit in front of that. It could be something very, very different. So I wouldn't read too much into Portugal last night, but I do certainly understand the perspective a lot of people had of saying this is why I want to push back against Portugal. You didn't watch them last night. I think this team's going to win the tournament.
Definitely not.
But I definitely didn't 8 years ago when I drew with Iceland either.
True. What's your thoughts on Euro fantasy then, James? I got a whopping 39 points. How many goals did in my team, James?
None.
That's with Lukaku, Kane and Mbappe up front. Behind which you got Sabitzer, Bruno Fernandes, Sudakov, Leandro Trossard. Not a single goal between them. How many assists in my team, James?
39 points. There's every chance it was none.
1. Kylian Mbappe.
Okay, yeah.
And that was deflection,
fucking
wasn't it?
dubious,
exactly.
Yeah.
As well. How many clean sheets in my team, James?
1.
Jordan Pickford. 1 clean sheet, 1 assist, no returns. I did get this odd sprinkling of ball recoveries, which seems to be the way that everyone's picking up the extra 1s and 2s here and there. No captaincy return anywhere across the board. Basically, dog shite.
On ball recoveries, just briefly, we've seen certain ones really high, like Manuel Kanji, I think, had the most in the group stage, that 11 against Hungary. The trend that I'm seeing, and it might change, is very much teams that are more struggling to keep the ball, where players are picking this up. So you think of like Wout Faes against Slovakia, Akanji against Hungary. The interesting bit about Akanji against Hungary is obviously Switzerland were winning the majority of that game, whereas in a weird way, because Belgium were losing so long against Slovakia, it actually became less as a surprise that, say, Faes was picking up good ball recovery numbers. Something to bear in mind that you might be more likely to get them against teams that are obviously weaker at keeping the ball. You know, England had the third best passing accuracy in the group stage.
Yeah, I mean, the first half...
Just saying, hashtag.
The first half, we were right, though.
So 39 points, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's grim. Who did your captain finish on?
That was Bruno Fernandes.
So 6-pointer, yeah?
Yeah.
Boom. I'm interested to know, where does that rank you?
I wouldn't know. I'm not in any mini leagues.
Are you on the app?
No, I'm on the neutral 2.75 million. I'm 2.2 million.
Boom.
World leaderboard, it says 3 million players, 2.6. Let's round.
Okay.
So yeah, not great. But short format game.
Yeah.
Turns around very quickly.
Yeah.
No stress.
Yeah. I've had a decent start.
Yeah, you were up to, I heard with Clayton yesterday, you were 15th in the mini league Planet FPL.
That's a bit worse now, 21st.
Yeah, but still decent.
71 points for me this week. I mean, look, the difference.
So 32 to make up.
24 Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, simple. That's the bulk of it.
And also, obviously, where you've gone the free German defensive, I've got
Germany attack.
Germany
attack and a captain. Small margins in this.
That's it. On top of that, I've got Wout Fass's 5.
I had that.
And Jules Koundé's 9.
But Wout Fass's 5 was ball recoveries, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't really bother.
But Koundé ball recoveries on top of Pickford's clean sheet. Yeah. That's where your
little
difference
bits and pieces here and there. Yeah.
I've essentially got a pretty decent score despite having 6 players blank.
Yeah.
I've only had 5 players do anything for me.
But that's a typical week in FPL, you know. In any given FPL week, if 6 players or more return, you will be well up there. I say
it's only 5 players return. It's 6, isn't it? Because I've locked the captaincy, and that's a big thing this week where so many people have spun 5 times and missed 5 times.
Correct.
I think if you looked at the ownership of the players in the top sort of 20% plus owned, I think it was only 2 returned, of which 1 was Jude. I think it was Jude. Might have been 3. Jude, Havertz, and not even Havertz. Jude Bellingham, Wirtz, and maybe Musiala might have been the other one, maybe. But yeah, there weren't many. So it is very conceivable. Anyone who went Kane rather than Bellingham, which I think is the majority, have highly likely just missed this completely. And anybody who spun their captaincy Friday night from a German return, I don't blame you.
No, of course.
I do not blame you. It never crossed my mind not to, actually. I was on Havertz's 9. I think the Musiala one was the borderline maybe keep. But even Wirtz's 10, I'd have spun that night 1 because all this power I've still got during the week.
Yeah, agreed. I'm on triple Belgium. They're not going anywhere for me, James.
Yeah, I'd like them to.
No, but I mean, there's Romania next, right? So as good as Romania were in their victory, I still think Belgium, now, because Belgium need to win. So different kettle of fish now in terms of fixture. But they don't need to win.
Well, no, they don't really.
They're going to think mentally, let's go into this and get 3 points on the board. I think England's fixture against Denmark with Kane and Pickford's fine. Hungary for the Germans is fine. I've got then Spain for Jorginho, not great. Slovakia for Ukraine's all right. Poland for Austria is fine. And then Turkey for the Portuguese is fine. It's Mbappe who's injured for me. So it's 1 free transfer allowed, right?
2.
2. So I'll be selling Mbappe.
You can take -4s here, by the way.
Yeah. I don't think I need to, though. I don't think I want to, James. I haven't got that on paper. What am I going to do? Unless I really downgraded Mbappe and upgraded Sabitzer or Sudakov.
I really didn't like Sabitzer as a pick, Suj.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. You got to roll with it. You got to try something, right?
Yeah, but you've had him for France. I probably wouldn't bin him now.
I'm not binning him.
He's got a shot on him, hasn't he? We know that.
You've got Jorginho. I can move on. Sabitzer was taking corners. He took most of the corners.
But the only
for
thing
Austria,
is, one different way of looking at it might be if you dropped Mbappe rather than to who's your other forward you got?
Kane and Lukaku, isn't it?
So rather than maybe going to Ronaldo, if you dropped Mbappe down to, I don't know, Dobvik's value, the kind of 7.5 range or something, and then shove Jorginho into an England player or something, there's a different way round of doing it. Rather than just thinking, I've got to go to Ronaldo, you might want to drop it the other way. Remember, you're at 1 week here. There's no long-term planning. You're just at 1 week because you and I are both going to Limitless in 3, unless you've given any thought to doing something now.
Nah.
I looked at a Limitless last night, what I'd probably put together, and I'm not doing it. I think I was spending about 107, which I'd say, justifiable, considering you obviously ain't putting Mbappe in that now to say, yeah, if people want to do it, then yeah, do it. But it doesn't thrill. This week never thrilled. That's why I'm just avoiding it, because this week doesn't thrill me with the fixtures, etc. I think you just want to power into players who've got their most difficult fixture. Oh, Mbappe's not available. I'll put Griezmann instead. It's a tough fixture. England's fixture's tough. Spain and Italy playing each other. Portugal against Turkey. Certainly from, say, like a Cancelo perspective, do I think Turkey could give Portugal some problems? Yeah, Portugal probably give them more the other way. With that in mind, I think Ronaldo is the right choice for you.
Okay.
I would do that.
That means I need to sell Costa.
You also need to think about captaincy, right? So one of the awkwardness for Mbappe owners might be now looking at Friday and going, who am I captaining Friday? So you've got one less day. So what's your captaincy plan? Is it still like a Germany player tonight?
Yes.
Against Hungary?
I've got it still stuck on Tar for today. In terms of the 21st...
I think the Germany team's going to be the same, by the way.
I've got the choice of Sabitzer, Sudakov or Mbappe as it stands. Obviously, Mbappe's going to move on. So it'd be Sudakov for me, more than likely. Followed by...
I'll tell you what I think of Sudakov. At the moment,
in between.
At the moment on Friday, I've got Sudakov and Koundé. I think I'd captain Koundé.
Okay. Lukaku, I'm going to captain on the 22nd, on the final day.
So you don't need Ronaldo for captaincy. That's part of my point.
No.
So you're going to be what? Germany, Kane, probably Sudakov.
And Lukaku.
Yeah. So you don't need Ronaldo from the captaincy.
No.
So is it worth considering something like Griezmann instead then?
Yeah, potentially.
For a captaincy Friday. See, I'm not in a position to do that. I'm going to take the FPL general, our good friend Mark. I'm going to take his view on how to deal with things when you've got fantasy problems, which is deal with your two biggest ones. And Sudakov isn't one of them, because it's still a decent fixture against Slovakia.
Yep.
Who are obviously, Slovakia would be delighted with a draw now, considering their result against Belgium. They may well beat Ukraine. On form on what you watched the other day, you'd go, yeah, Slovakia will give them some problems. I quite liked what I saw of them. But Sudakov might find himself with a lot more of the ball. And he did take more of an initiative the more it went on. I'm not in love with seeing him there, to be honest. Sorry to the FPL community. But he's not my biggest problems. Frimpong, I presume, isn't going to play for the Netherlands. There is a case to say, when they're playing France, they might go with someone who's used to being more defensive in a higher role, but it's still against France. I don't think Lunin will play for Ukraine following his performance against Romania. So those two, as shit as it is, goalkeeper and a defender, yeah, I'm not that unhappy with the rest. Those are my two biggest problems, and this is a 15-player game. It's not an 11-player game. So those are the two players that I'm going to flip. You haven't quite decided what I want to do yet. I'm looking at combinations of things like... So I've got 10 million for the two, basically. If I go, say, Vardiol or Trent, then it's a 4.5 keeper. I'm not in love with any of them. There's possibly one 4.0 keeper I prefer a bit more that I'll speak about in a sec. Or I split it more and go with like Pickford and a Kanji or something like that. That's probably where I'm looking at. The Norman of Spain, he's not out my thinking as well because he's cheap. And I wouldn't be surprised if Spain kept a clean sheet against Italy, actually. Okay. I can visualise that game being 0-0.
Keeper, you said?
Because it's a game that we're really looking forward to, so I bet it's shit.
Cool.
The keeper that was considered the 4 million one is Serbian keeper. They obviously play Slovenia tomorrow afternoon. Rajkovic, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're going to punt a cheap keeper, make it your first keeper, right?
And still got... Well, I mean, Costa's obviously going to go last for me unless I went Castiles, which I'm not going to do. So, yeah, Predrag Rakovic, 4.0, I might look at. Because I think Serbia showed against England that they were pretty decent defensively. I can see that game being low scoring. So I might look at that. And then that would technically allow me to go to a 6 million defender. I don't want any of them. The one would be Cancelo, but I've got 3 Portugal, so it's a similar not doing that. So it's going to be somewhere around sort of Croatia, Switzerland, England, perhaps Serbia that I might look at. I think a few to mention that have probably stood up that perhaps we weren't considering early in the week. Here's a rogue one for you. Billy Gilmore surely plays for Scotland tonight. He's 5 million. Michael Arbisher, if you're looking for a different one to Jorginho at the same price, obviously plays Scotland tonight. Cadwo Dua, 6 million forward. Might enable you to power Jorginho up to sort of Jude Bellingham, for example. Croatian 4.0 defender against Albania could be of interest. Marin Pogracic. So you'd arguably get him rather than go Vardiel at 1.5. Obviously, if you're on the Limitless crowd or you're in my position where the money doesn't matter so much,
go for it.
You go for Vardiel, weren't you? I think Lovro Meyer is a cheeky one for tonight for those on the wild card or the Limitless strategy. As I said, Le Normand for Spain. I think that's been fancied to be the lowest scoring game in Matchday 2, according to the odds. There is some speculation that Fratesi might not play for Italy in that game, and also Calafiori, who played surprisingly against Albania, 4.5 defender. There's speculation that he might not play either. Eric Jans, who obviously scored for Slovenia against Denmark's 4.5. I'd say one that wouldn't be the worst one for you to punt. Suj is Sesko, 7 million against Serbia. Again, to push your money differently. The two Danish wing backs, if you fancy him for a clean sheet against England, Barr and Christensen are both 4.5. Jan Bednarek of Poland, if you fancied him for a clean sheet against Austria, is 4.0. Another one I'd be considering in goal, such as Patrick Pens, the Austrian goalkeeper. He's 4.0 as well. There's a few 4.0s. N'Golo Kante's performance the other night actually puts him on radar because of the ball recovery aspect of it. 6 million, again, potentially enables. Clayton's boy, David Hanko of Slovakia, 4.5 defender. You would assume against Ukraine, you'll see him more at the other end of the pitch. His numbers in qualifying brought a lot of appeal to him. Wout Fass is still 4, but I think people had already got their Belgian stuff. If people believe Belgium are that bad, you've obviously got a few 4.0s defensively for Romania. Florin Nitter will now play in goal. Nikosor Banchu and Andrei Ratiu, he of the blue hair, both 4.0. Georgian one for you to consider, Suj. Up front, Georges Mikotwedze, who scored just his 5 up front, if you fancy that. Because they played the Czechs this round, don't they? I would not be surprised if Georgia beat the Czechs. I really wouldn't. Jindrik Stanek, who we criticised 4.0 in goal. I actually would prefer, if you want a bit of Czech defensively, Robin Hranek, who actually was the unfortunate scorer of the own goal last night, is 4.0 in their backline. I'd prefer that. Samit Akayidin played for Turkey yesterday in the backlines, 4.0, but you are walking straight into Portugal. I don't think there was anything from Portugal that stood up as more interesting last night. I thought it might have been Nuno Mendes when I saw the team, but not on the way they played stylistically last night. So there's a few names there that we perhaps hadn't considered too much before the tournament started. But I'll tell you what I would say as a key message. A lot of people have had really good players in their fantasy teams blank this week. Yeah, don't be surprised if they don't this time.
Well, this is it. It turns around very quickly, and quality players don't become rubbish after one game.
I wouldn't chase too much. Like as much as Romania would have impressed us the other day, just sit and breathe and playing Belgium. If you want to get Stanchu at 5.5 because it enables a different move, then I'm fine with that. But yeah, don't be surprised if a lot of these big hitters who blanked in match day 1 don't in match day 2. I wouldn't go thumping your team about. For those on Limitless, I presume nearly everyone is going to now go Ronaldo, Lukaku, Kane up front. And midfield wise, you're probably going to go with Jude Bellingham, your Bruno Fernandes. I think probably 2 Germany in there, so like Musiala and Wirtz or Gundogan if you prefer. Perhaps one lesson that we have learned from this tournament so far is don't spend too much at the back.
Agreed.
You've got guys in there who are 4.0, well capable of getting ball recoveries and stuff, even without the clean sheets. I mean, without Fass's 5 counts as it, basically, doesn't it? Indeed.
Good. Listeners, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back at you tomorrow. You with Angus McPhail tomorrow, talking Scotland and a bit of Euro fantasy as well. So make sure wherever you're listening to the podcast, you hit the notification bell, subscribe, like, follow, whatever it may be, whatever platform you may be on. And we'll be back at you then. Stay safe, look after yourselves, enjoy the football. Ciao for now.
Thanks, everyone. Deadline 2 o'clock today, remember. Play it your way. Cue music, please. Man child.